Programming with breaking news. ABC News has learned that Israel has launched an attack on Iran, likely targeting Iran's nuclear sites. Tensions have been mounting in the region for several days. President Trump told reporters earlier today that it could happen at any time. We want to go right to Selena Wang, who is at the White House for us. Selena, what's the latest reporting?
Well, Lindsay, we don't have details on the size or the scope of this attack, but earlier today I had asked President Trump just how imminent an Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facility could be, and President Trump told me that it very well could happen. But he also stressed again that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon and made clear that he would prefer a diplomatic resolution to this. The president also said that last month he had warned Netanyahu not to launch such a strike. The president is concerned that this attack could actually derail ongoing U.S. and Iran negotiations. The president has been signaling for many weeks now that he believes the U.S. and Iran are close to a deal. But then just in recent days, the president has become less confident. But his envoy, Steve Witkoff, Lindsay, he is planning to travel to Oman for scheduled talks with his Iranian counterparts on Sunday. This is after multiple rounds of talks between the U.S. and Iran. The president today, as of just hours ago, still optimistic that an agreement could be reached. We'll see how this changes things.
Selena Wang from the White House, thank you. I want to go now to Marcus Moore in Tel Aviv, who's in a shelter there. Again, we just talked about these escalations and what it could potentially mean for these peace talks, which we were expecting to happen just days from now. Marcus, what are you learning?
Well, Lindsay, I can tell you that the tension has already, as you know, been high across the region. And just moments ago, the air raid sirens went off here in Tel Aviv, and there was an announcement on the loudspeaker here in the hotel where we're staying and working, and it urged everyone, the guests, to get to the shelter on their floor. And so that's where we are right now. Just to show you around just a little bit, you can see they have some supplies in here. There are cots, and guests have also joined in these shelters to try to get to a safe place. Because, Lindsay, the concern has been all along over any potential Israeli strike on Iran, that there would be a response. And so following what the Israelis have called a preemptive strike tonight here in the Middle East, in Iran, they soon after that sounded the alarms for anyone really across all of Israel to get to their bomb shelters, anticipating that there would be a response from Iran, and a response, Lindsay, that would be quite swift. And what we have heard from the Iranians is that if any of their locations were hit, whether they're nuclear or not, that they would respond in kind. And so that is why there's been so much concern here tonight.
And we are taking a live look at Jerusalem at this moment. Marcus Moore, thank you. I want to bring in former State Department official and ABC News contributor Colonel Steve Ganyard. He joins us now. Steve, obviously, it cannot be overstated here just how widespread these implications are.
Indeed, Lindsay. And we want to find out what actually went on here. Apparently, President Trump told Benjamin Netanyahu just recently that the U.S. would not participate. So this seems to be an all-Israeli operation.
Shalom. First thing and foremost, we give all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever they may be. Amen. Prophecy shit is happening. Breaking news, as we know. And we kind of mentioned this in the sit down last night. As we were doing a sit down, we got reports that basically Israel has attacked Iran. Now, while that's not necessarily nothing new under the spectrum, but this it's a little bit more different because I believe they heard strikes from Tehran, which is the capital of Iran. All right, and they've been threatening to escalate tensions for a while because the nuclear agreement and the peace agreements that Iran was supposed to have with the West when it came to nuclear talks. But Iran has not been playing ball with the West because they figured, well, if you got nuclear capability, why can't we have it? And I mean, they have every right to feel that way, because that's just like saying you can have a gun but I can't. So what happens when you try to take me over? I'm supposed to sit here like a duck and allow you to F me over, and that's not how that's gonna go, because the Lord is putting a spirit on these nations to fight back. So of course you got this guy B.B. Mikowski, which I'm gonna play that video as well, and he's basically talking about how Iran and so forth was operating in mass genocide, but that's clearly not the case, because clearly you're the genocidal maniacs, man, that want to make an ethnic cleansing to everybody that's not your people, and then you like to take the soft world out and point the finger at everybody else, which is a typical small hat tactic. I say it to you that way, because they're cracking down on anybody that speaks out against these people, and this man is losing his shit because he's been exposed on the world stage. But this is a tweet for Donald Trump. It says, I gave Iran a chance. I gave Iran chance after chance to make a deal. Now you got this guy Trump talking shit, talking about, well, you know, we want to solve it diplomatically. And the reason why he wants to solve it diplomatically is because, for the simple fact, he don't want to get into a conflict with Russia, because he knows that Russia and Iran are business partners, okay, with trade agreements and deals and oil, and you know, they know that Russia have their best interests because Russia is heavily invested in Iran. So they understand that if tensions escalate between Israel and Iran, by default, America has to back Israel, and they know that Russia is going to back Iran. And Iran and Russia have been itching for a war low-key with America, okay, because they understand that you are responsible for majority of the world's conflicts, okay, the whole coup in Turkey years ago, hell, the fucking Ukrainian war. They understand that NATO had an influence in that, okay, because you got this guy by the name of Zelensky, which is a crypto small hat, which basically was rubbing elbows with NATO, because found out that the Ukrainian forces were trained by NATO, that's like the powerfulest military in Europe, in the West is NATO, you know. But Russia came there and it made them look like child, like babies, man. So you're not on a level to deal with Russia, man, and you know that. So therefore, America is trying to avoid conflict with the Russian Edomites, because they know that that's World War III. And the fact that Israel attacked Iran, that's basically World War III, all right? So while Trump is trying to do things diplomatically, that ain't how Yahweh Shem Shai sees it, because this is the Lord's program. But he says, I told them in the strongest of words to just do it. But who the hell are you? Man, anybody got to listen to your ass, man? Hell, I wouldn't do it. But it says, but no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. He says, I told them it would be much worse than anything they anticipated or were told. And it says, worse than anything they know or anticipated or were told. It says that the United States make the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world by far, and that Israel has a lot of it, which much more to come, which, I mean, he's bluffing, because at the end of the day, yeah, the United States is the world's most powerful military if you factor in the air game, but overall, you're not more powerful than Russia, bro. Okay, Russia and China, they're on par with you. If not, they're more powerful than you. And the fact that you are cutting ties with your allies left and right, nobody's going to be here to back you when all hell break loose, because according to the scriptures, your allies are going to turn against you. So this is a major step towards the end of this system, the end of this man's society. And call Allah Yahweh Shem Shai, all the shit going on here in the West with the tensions and the ICE protests, and you got the tactical people that's deploying to 5 cities, man. This is good news for the hopeful elect, man. And we pray like hell that this shit don't slow down, man. But it says, but much to come. And it says, and Trump is known for selling wolf tickets. It says, and they know how to use it. Certainly Iranian headliners or hardliners spoke bravely, but they didn't know what was about to happen. It says they are all dead now. Ooh, shit. And that's going to provoke Russia. And it says, and it will only get worse. It says, Trump is the devil, man. It says there have already been great death and destruction. And they still haven't forgot when you assassinated their military generals and their leaders and their ministers, prime ministers. They didn't forget that. You know, and I'm surprised they didn't retaliate off that. But, you know, this is in the Lord's timing. But it says there have already been great death and destruction, but there is still time to make this slaughter, the next already planned attacks, being even more brutal, to come to an end. It says Iran must make a deal before there's nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. It says no more death, no more destruction. Just do it before it's too late. God bless you all. So that's basically a pretty worded threat. Either do what we tell you to do, or we're going to fuck you up, man. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to take too kind of that, because now Russia upped the ante on the Ukraine, and we know that America wants Ukraine and Russia to back out of the war, because it exposes NATO and it exposes America's hand in it. So at the end of the day, when they pull back the curtain, you're going to see Babylon at the helm of all this shit. And that's going to be bad for your European allies, man. But it says here, this is Psalms 140, and I'm going to start at verses 1. It says, deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil men, and preserve me from the violent men, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. It says, continually they are gathered together for war. It says continually because this man does not understand peace. Okay, peace is not in Esau's playbook because he's the devil. Okay, he was blessed with the sword, and that's the blessing that the Lord gave him, to take peace from the earth, and that's what he's doing, because Esau can't coexist with other people, because he's like that big kid that wants everybody else shit. Here, you know, he's spoiled. Here, you know how you go to school with the privileged kid, and you know, you eating lunch out of a plastic bag, but yet he has a lunchbox with the X-Men on it. He got the toys. He got the Power Ranger toys. You know, he got the best bread. He's eating the sandwich with the Miracle Whip on it, with the Swiss cheese, and you eating government cheese. And yet, you eating your bag lunch, and he wants to come in and take your shit when he has the better half. Like, dude, you want government cheese too? You know? Here, I got a generic Power Man when I was a kid, man. You know, all my homeboys, they all had Power Ranger toys and shit, and I didn't get them. You know, I got them eventually. But I mean, they used to come to school and sneak them. He had a Megazord. He had a whole set. And I had to wait till Christmas to get one Red Ranger and shit. But he'd come in with it and everything like that. And, you know, I had to beg my mother to go buy generic, you know, because they used to sell the generic ones too. They wasn't really Power Ranger, but they was generic. You know what I'm saying? Just to pretend. This nigga had everything, man. You know, it want to take your shit. And that's Esau. But it says, which imagines mischief in their heart, and continually they are gathered together for war. So as long as this man is in power, as long as he has a standing military, there will be war. Okay, he does not know peace. He does not bring peace. He cannot cohabitate with people without chaos, man. That's the nature of the beast, of the devil, man. It says they have sharpened their tongues like a serpent, added poisons under their lips. But keep me, O Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, from the hands of the wicked, and preserve me from the violent man who have purpose to overthrow my goings, man. All right, because this is all the Lord's plan at the end of the day. All right, so let me play a little bit more of this video, then we'll get a couple more pieces.
Now, the Israelis do not have bombers, so they aren't able to drop the kind of ordnance that would penetrate deep into the buried sites that the Iranians hold their centrifuges. So the question here is, what did the Israelis hit? We are seeing some reports in Tehran that some air defense sites and military sites within Tehran have been hit, but that's not really the nuclear program, and that was the intent of the strikes tonight. The other thing we need to think about here, Lindsay, is that the Iranians have thousands of missiles, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles that can reach Tel Aviv, reach Israel. And so obviously Israel's on alert and expecting some sort of a retaliation from the Iranians quite soon.
And Steve, just want to stay with you here because we are just hearing from a U.S. official that the United States did not have any involvement. They were not in no way assisting with Israel in this attack. You have to imagine that.
And see, that's them trying to cover their ass because, see, they trying to take away tensions from the West because they're afraid of Russia. Cowards.
This was the last thing the United States wanted, certainly not in anyone's best interest.
President Trump has been holding out hope that the negotiations that are going on in Oman were supposed to go on Sunday would actually lead to something, but has also been very frustrated. The Israelis see the ability of the Iranians to create a nuclear weapon as an existential threat, and so their ability to tolerate the kind of delays that we've seen out of the Iranians is very different from the U.S. So Benjamin Netanyahu made the decision to do what the Israelis have literally been planning for decades to do, and that is go after those nuclear sites to try to set back the Iranian nuclear program.
Steve Gagnon.
And that's a heavy move, man, because they don't understand that even though they're going after the nuclear sites, Russia can provide them with nuclear artillery. China. I mean, Iran has resources, bro. That's why they're so afraid of them getting their hands on a nuclear weapon, but yet these people can have nuclear weapons? Okay, Esau is more prone to drop a nuke on the world before the Iranians. So I don't see the problem with it, you know?
For us, we thank you so much for your time. And we are now going to return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. I'm Lindsay Davis in New York. Have a good night.
Esau's a hypocrite. But they just started something that they're not going to be able to get their ass out of because, I mean, that just sealed the small head's demise, man. All right, we getting ready to see this thing play out in great ordeal. Let's go from here. Jeremiah 49, and I'm gonna start at verses 13. It says here, "For I've sworn by myself, says Yahweh, that Basra should become a desolation." And it's not talking about actual Basra. We're gonna possess that land. Basra is modern day America, and it makes sense because the greater habitation of the Edomites resides here in the west. It says a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof should be perpetual waste. So this whole landmass is going to be desolate. And it says, "And I've heard the rumor from Yahweh, and the ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together and come against her and rise up to battle." All right. So when you look up ambassador, right? Ambassador is like an advocate. All right. Ambassador goes into the word sa'ar, which means a messenger. Yep, a messenger. Yeah. Advocate, a messenger. And it reads, it says, "Sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle." So this is the spirit. Angels are going forth and they're playing on the minds of these kings. And it says, "For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men." And this is why everybody is against the small hat. Okay, everybody is seeing the small head being exposed. So therefore, Amalek is coming out with provisions to protect their interests and their assets because they know they have a short time. Okay, the world sees Esau. The whole world sees him. And it says here, "They are despised among men. Thy terribleness have deceived thee." Because what this dude, Bibi, say, he said that they was trying to make a genocidal end to the people, when in fact it's you. That he set up there, he called the Palestinians or the Iranians or whatever, I forgot, but he called their ass Amalek. That's the devil. You know, here he puts the reflective mirror to his face and see the devil, but he reflects on somebody else. How the hell you gonna call somebody Amalek when you the Amalekite? And Bibi knows he's an Amalekite. You know, he's trying to put that badge of shame on everybody else. But it says here, "Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thy heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill." It says, "Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from hence, says the Lord. And also Edom should be a desolation, and everyone that goeth by should be astonished, and shall hiss at the plagues thereof. And as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighboring cities thereof, says Yahweh, no man should abide there, neither should the Son of Man dwell in it." And that's talking about here in Babylon, because eventually this war will lead to the destruction of the West, this empire, America. Okay, eventually they're going to shoot the missiles over here. But it says here, "Behold, he should come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitations of the strong." Amalek, he called it Operation something lion or some shit. I forgot, he called it Operation something lion or something like that. But this lion is Yahushua. And it says, "And I will suddenly make him run away from her, who is the chosen man, and who is that I may appoint over her, and for who is like me, and who will appoint me the time." It says, "And who is the shepherd that will stand before me?" And Yahushua is that shepherd. It says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, that he have taken against Edom, and his purpose, that he have surely purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock should draw them out." And we're seeing that, okay, because all the tension that the small hats are starting in the east, that's going to draw America into this third world war, because America is the ultimate superpower behind Israel, man. Yeah, you have NATO in the EU, but America is his own force within itself, because this is the war machine. Fucking allergies, man. Salakia. But it says here, "Surely the least of the flock should draw them out. Surely he should make their habitations desolate with them." But it says the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, because the scripture said the earth should rock to and fro like a drunkard, and the cry of the noise there was heard in the Red Sea. But behold, he should come up and fly as an eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. And that day shall the mighty men of the Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pains," because you're going to completely be destroyed, man. Okay, concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded and pride, for they have heard evil tidings, and they are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea, and it cannot be quiet. But Damascus is waxed feeble, and turneth herself to flee, and fear hath seized on her, and anguish and sorrow has taken her as a woman in travail. So, yeah, man, you people getting ready to be destroyed. Because it says here, "Therefore her young men shall fall on her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, says the Lord. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and shall consume the palaces of Ben-Hadad." So, yeah, the Lord has been ready to make an end of that land as well, because you got a bunch of heathen that reside in our land that don't belong there. So he's getting them all with one stone. The Lord is killing 20 birds with one stone, so to speak. Revelation 6:3. It says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out a red horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. So that's talking about you devils, you Edomites, man. It says it was given to him a great sword. All right. Hold on. Let me get this video real quick. I'm gonna put another video up. Yeah, my phone acting weird. Signals are not really good. But let's look what this devil got to say.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
And this is an evil ass dude, bro. This is a wicked ass individual, bro. I mean, you could just see the countings on him that he's a demon. And they came out that he was like working for the fucking CIA, like that. He was like some type of CIA. I forgot what he was, but he was some type of undercover agent, man, back in the day. Worked for the CIA, the different police groups. This dude is a complete plant. And the Rothschilds are using him heavily, man, because he's nothing but a puppet too. But he's doing the bidding of the Rothschilds, man. And he's going to get their ass. He's going to be the destruction of Israel, man. Mark those words. Because, hey, he has all types of war crimes. He has charges against him. But he's not going to back out of the war, because if he backs out of the war and declare peace and cease everything, he's going to fucking jail for life. Because he's responsible for mass genocide on hundreds of thousands of people, man. Okay, look at what they did to Gaza. Totally destroyed. Families are starving to death. Using Palantir to surveillance people, putting people in detainment centers, man, starving them out, dangling the carrot before their face, man, starving kids out, opening up fire on women and children. This man is the devil, man. But yet you can't say nothing about this devil, man. Well, you're the anti-Semitic. Fuck out of here.
A targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9.
Okay, but how many do you have, and how many are you getting from the West? Let's make that make sense, all right? You're complaining about them, but yet you're the hypocrite as well. Because didn't you just bomb Gaza? Aren't you starving people out, but you worried about them getting nuclear weapons? You know why they're getting nuclear weapons? Because they want to defend themselves from your fucking ass, man. You know, Iran, I don't see them being a proverbial threat. Even though they're a bunch of heathens and they have to be put in captivity, they're not half as bad as you, bro. And you just woke up the beast, man, because, hey, they gonna retaliate. Because they... Hey.
In months, Iran has taken steps that
they've been saying since Ahmadinejad, they've been saying they want to wipe you off the face of the map. So you basically just put the ball in their court. You play right into their hands, man. So let's see what they're gonna do.
We're taken before steps to weaponize this enriched uranium, and if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year. It could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by
Bullshit.
the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses.
Hitler, that propagated shit. That motherfucker had small hats in his army. What are you talking about? He was a small hat himself. Damn demon. This
to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, Those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000s of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year, we struck back inside Iran itself. Yet in defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years.
Hey, the scriptures say, though he speak sweet in the butter, yet war is in his heart. That man is the devil, man. He don't give a fuck about you. He don't give a damn about his own people. You know, that's why the Lord is getting ready to destroy your ass. But this is the book of 2nd Ezra 15 and 28. It says, behold, a horrible vision, the appearance there from the east. And this is going to unite the Arab world too, man, because the Ishmaelites or the Afghanis, I believe Afghanis is Ishmael, the Iraqis and so forth, they're going to all unite and team up with their brothers, man, because they understand that they have a common threat, because he coming after the entire Arab world, not just them. It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia should come out with many chariots, and a multitude of them should be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all which hear them may fear and tremble. But also the Carmanians, which is the Iranians, raging in wrath, should go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power they should come and join battle with them, and should waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So there are going to be attacks here. Okay, you already have Iranian, you already have.
I'm just vacuuming down. You have no Freon left in it at all.
Yeah. I think the dude that was looking at it, I think he thought it was too much, so he absorbed some out of it. But when I turn on the AC, that light blinks, so I don't...
Yeah, because they won't even turn it on because there's not enough pressure.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. What you think that could be?
So wait, he had more pressure in it and it still would blink?
Allegedly. It's, I mean, I don't know, because I put a transcooler on there, so he could have just fucked the lines up and probably didn't hook something up.
So it worked before the transcooler?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I think it's just luck. Some service, so I'm going to shoot it up to see if it kicks on, but I had the scanner hooked to it. When you hit that button, that module has to talk to the body control module and then talk to the PCM, so it's like a network communication.
Yeah.
And there ain't no codes in none of them.
That's funny. Yeah. No,
the only thing that was weird is it says, when I hit the button and it says AC request signal, it just stuck on no. But I'm pretty sure that it's just because of low pressure. I'm going to know here in a minute once I shoot it back up.
Okay.
If it's an electrical problem or if it's just low.
Okay. For sure. Yeah, man, talk to the mechanic guy. But it says, shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand. Remember that nature, and they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. Then these shall be troubled bled and kept silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians, which is America, shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them. And in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. But behold, clouds from the east, and behold from the north and to the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm, going into the chariots, man. And they should smite upon one another, and they should smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood should be from the sword into the belly, and the dung of man into the camel's hoof. And there should be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see the wrath should be afraid, and trembling should come upon them, man. So this thing is getting ready to escalate, man. But anyway, I'm gonna cut it here, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Our Lord's will you edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.
I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan.